Welcome to Clearcoat Confessions, where the dirt gets hunted down and the shine hits like a knockout. From beat-up daily drivers to weekend showstoppers, we're breaking down the art of clean, one panel at a time. Detailing tips, insider tricks, and the kind of passion that doesn't wash off. So pull up, tune in, and let's make that ride look dangerous again.
All opinions expressed on Clearcoat Confessions are those of the hosts and do not reflect the views of any affiliates or sponsors.
And welcome to Clearcoat Confessions. We've got a great couple topics that we're going to be talking about tonight, and we've got a lot of great people on the panel tonight within the garage. We got Adamo, Dave, Jeff, Chingy, Vice, Fernando, and Ricardo. Franco is a little busy working, I think. You think he's still on the choo-choo or on his way home from the train, but he'll be joining us a little bit later on. So what we'd like to do is just get rolling right away because we've got a couple really good subjects. And the first one is we're just going to take a look and discuss about our garages. What do we all have in our garage as far as tools, mostly as far as tool goes, right? Accessories, tools, and then, we'll talk about that for a little while. We've got some people that have some really cool things in here, some that are pretty basic, like me. And we'll just go off of that. We've got Franco. It looks like Franco may have landed.
Joined us.
Yeah.
What's up?
All right.
Here.
We can't see you. We can't see you, El Franco Bling. Oh, El Franco Blingy.
Fortunately.
Put pants on.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So welcome everybody to tonight. Make sure you hit the like. And
The like button on the way in.
Yeah. Go ahead and subscribe. And so we'll go ahead and turn it over to Franco. Again, is going to be moderating. Dom and I will be watching the chat, so we'll be expecting any questions. We'll mark those, and we'll get to those a little bit later on. So let's go ahead and get started here. Who's ready? Who's ready to go first tonight?
All right. Well, I guess I'll start.
Yeah, well, and we were going to dedicate a whole 2 hours a day, but whole start. And
Well, I'll give you the dime tour today. We'll save the big like Messerschmitt that I got here going on. Mainly for at my home garage, I'm running the Ryobi automotive pressure washer. My hoses is DeWalt 5/16. And my guns I pick as I feel that day. I got the Zebra, I got the SG-35, and I got a bunch of other crappy ones that Keith conned me into buying because I was drunk probably that night. And the foam cannons, it's also a pick of the day. I got let's see here. We have the Drift Cannon, we got the Rainkova, we got the MJJC, we have the PF, we got the Boss, we got all the Amazon crappy ones as well. And then lately for blowers, I got a big Greenworks 880, but these are the guys I mainly rock right now, and that's the Ryobi. And lately, my newest acquisition has been this Cobalt, which has got a bigger propellers, quieter, like not quieter, but it's got a lower
tone,
lower frequency, and it pushes out, I think, about maybe 50 horsepower more, or whatever it's called in CFM, whatever they call it. And it's been pretty good so far, and it comes with a few more tips as well, rubber tips. It's been pretty good. As far as foamers, IK, big and small electric, and I've been playing around with the carton foamer there, and the SPTA foamer, and press-alls for days.
I'd rather not talk about how many press cells I have. So
As far as polishers, I like my Shine Made 3-inch. I got the Liquid Elements 15, Milwaukee 21, and I got a bunch of other crappy corded ones that are hanging around everywhere. But those are my main go-tos. Yeah, I think that covers all the real stuff. Unless I'm missing something. Anyone want to chime in?
Yeah.
No Fun Joe?
Sunjoe's on the way. It's in the mail.
Oh, he buckled and got it.
You know it. You know it.
Which
yeah.
Shine Made are you running? The quiet one or the
The EB 212.
yeah?
Yeah.
Such a great one.
Yeah, this guy. I mean, love to have a Merca, but I like the colors on this one better. It has a lock on it, and it works 90% as good. So that's good enough.
Are
for
you
me.
noticing it gets warm too? That's not just me, right?
A little bit around the head, but that's because all the air, I think, is being dispersed. All the fins are right by where your hand is. So as you can see right here. So your hand's going to be right here. You're going to feel all that hot air coming off the engine coming right on your hand.
Yeah.
Most likely why you're feeling that.
There was a commenter on one of Colton's videos talking about that. And, I had to tell him, it won't seize. It's not seizing. It gets warm. You know it's warm. But
Right.
It doesn't alter performance whatsoever. It's still buttery smooth.
Yeah.
Half the cost, or more than the Merca.
So I've never handled the Merca, but the local detailing shop got the bar jack version of that 3-inch, and same thing. You run it, you can't stall it with all the pressure in the world, but it does get hot around the head. I don't know about the Merca.
I don't know. The bar jack to
Merca
me
doesn't
just
get hot at all.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
the Merca is solid, but
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bar jack, I know it has a little bit of. It feels like almost like it's like it has that knockoff feel to it. I mean, at least Shine Made feels pretty polished. The bar jack looks like it's. I know it's not white labeled, but it feels like a white label.
Does that also run off the Bosch batteries as well?
That I don't know. I think it runs off the same one as like the SPTA. Yeah.
It's like that same Chinesium battery. They all kind of use the same. It's the same triangle shape with a different butt on the bottom of it, like LE and SPTA and Shine Made, and they all have the same head. It's just a different like shroud and attachment system. If that
was it you I showed, Jeff, with the Merca battery. It has a different head on it, like Jeff said, an attaching point. But was it the Rupes battery? I can take the head off of the Merca battery or the Rupes, and it'll work in the Merca or in the Rupes. It's the same battery. It's just a different locking mechanism in the top. So
yeah, they're all 3-cell LiPo. It's 3S with whatever capacity they're 1.5 mAh or AH or 2.5 AH or whatever they're doing. I guess I could go next. I have a pressure washer that I built. It's pretty similar to, there's one from Can Pump that you can buy that's close to mine, but it's a 4-horsepower Nicolini motor with a Comet pump. It's like 3.5 gallons per minute, runs on 240 volt. I have a Cox reel. I've got a 1/4-inch hose that I got from Adamo, straight from Canada, that I can't replicate.
Have you said on the video? I'm sorry, Jeff. Have you said on the video, or what was the roundabout cost that you had into that pressure washer? Yeah,
$1,100-$1,200, give or take. You can do the same thing. Yeah, it's about the same price as a Krenzla.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a kit that you can buy from Can Pump. It's like $11.50. It's really close to what I have. And then, Cox reel. I use the OG Mossmatic gun, but I also have an SGS 28, and I have the Tutuluk one, Kiev gun.
Yeah.
I use the Griot's cannons for all my wash and talks. So they have like my normal stuff in them. And then anytime I'm testing stuff, I do that in the drift cannon, the Armor drift cannon. I have 3 of those and like 8 bottles for those. I also use press all spray bottles. I have 4 Mercas, the 3-inch rotary, 3-inch DA, the 6-inch rotary, and the 1-inch DA. I also have all of the Milwaukees, the 5, the 6, and the rotary, as well as the little Milwaukee, the short throw, like the app polisher one. Trying to think through what else. I use auto fiber barrel blade. I actually really like the Geon. It's like a wheel mitt. It's called Q2M wheel mitt. That thing's awesome. And then everything is Thor towels, Yeti bucket. My blower is Milwaukee. All my power tools are Milwaukee. So my blower is the Milwaukee single battery unit. My vacuum is the Milwaukee dual battery, 9 gallon, I guess it would be. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I have a pretty unique water system. I do everything with DI water, like literally everything. And yeah, those are sprayer. I use the sprayer systems nozzles. So OG, the nozzles, like the nozzle in the rubber shroud that you put on the end of your short gun. OG used to do sprayer systems, and then they switched to MTM, and the MTM ones kind of suck. So I buy the sprayer systems ones from Cleanright. I really like those. I'm using it's like a 7.0 40 degree, something like that.
So Jeff, starting with you, don't get me wrong. I'm like washing the dishes here. That's why I have the camera off.
Oh, you're good.
I'm bored out of my mind. That's not a dig on you. I don't want to hear a listing of everything we have. Like, let's change it up a little bit. Like, what, of everything you listed, what is the detailing tool that you have to have? Like, what's gonna make or break, or make your detail a lot less pleasurable if you don't have that tool? What is the tool for you? What, and not just a single tool, but
yeah, I mean,
what do you need to have?
I mean,
what is your staples?
I can wash with anything, really. I mean, I've had, I started off with a Harbor Freight pressure washer and a long gun, like everybody else did. You know what I mean? Like, I'd say you can do it with anything. The biggest, I think the thing that would impact me the most if it was gone are my solo sprayers. I use those for rinseless washing, and I have no desire to go back to a pump sprayer or any other
kind of electric spray. Yeah,
rinseless. Yeah, the electric sprayers. Like, I don't care if it's a Solo or if it's the X Foamer or whatever, the IK E-Foam Pro, any of those. Like, I think that is huge if you're doing rinseless, because pumping just sucks, and having something that can just run until the bottle's empty is huge.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff, I have a couple questions for you. So, about a month and a half or so, you had those, that video that you posted about the labels, and you put them on your press holes, and you got a lot of interest based off of that. And I'm curious how that's going with the designer that you were working with, and are they still interested?
So he is ready. So yeah, he made me custom labels for press holes. He also made them for my gallons. He made them for my dual neck bottles, for rinseless, all of that. And he's ready. He's making them for Atimo right now. And
why did Atimo get that and I didn't?
Well, everybody's going to get it here shortly. So I just recorded a video over the weekend. I'm going to put his info in there. I'll send it to you guys in the Discord chat. But I'm guessing he's going to be flooded with requests. But his name is Sergio. He's a really good dude. He's in Florida.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
And he'll help out with logos and stuff like that if needed. But ideally, you would have a logo, and you would have like a vectorized logo with like an SVG or PNG file that he could start off with, and then he'll work with you on making whatever you want. And I'll be honest, I'm really thrilled with them. I think that they came out great. I haven't had any issues with any failures. They've held up really well, so I'm pretty pumped about that. So yeah, I'll share that info. But I'll have a video coming out. My next vlog, it'll be in the
just in time for my press holes to land.
Yes, sir.
I
wanted to differentiate on the 12-volt batteries we were talking about earlier. This is like the SPTA one. You don't see anything at the top. You got on the back the little charge port right there. The ones like the Shine Mates take the Bosch style. Like it's like almost similar to the Milwaukee, but Milwaukee won't work. So if you guys are interested, that's for that. And I do have a question for Jeff. Since you got the specialized pressure washer there, you get what, 3 or 4 gallons of the
about 3.3, 3.4, something like that at 1100 psi.
Have you run into any of the issues that everyone's been running with the AR as far as, foam cannon?
No. So the magic of my pressure washer. So AR, Krensla, whoever, insert name, quiver of pressure washer manufacturer here. They're all trying to do it on 120 volts. Yep. Everybody's house in the entire country is wired for 240. And we have big appliances all over our houses that are running on 240, like my dryer or my oven or whatever, right? So a lot of us are running these dedicated lines for our pressure washer anyway, but we're doing 120 volt 20 amp, and they're trying to push as much as they possibly can out of a single 120 volt unit. So the most that you can do on a 120 volt outlet is like 1.5 to 2 horsepower on the motor. Like that's the maximum size you can go. So those things are like, they're working super hard to try to produce as much water as possible. Mine's 4 horsepower. It's like barely breathing. It draws 17 amps at 240 volts. And it doesn't matter if I put a 1/4-inch hose on it, if I put a big foam cannon on a small foam, like it just doesn't care because it's not working hard. It's kind of like if you went from driving a Civic to driving, an Accord with a V6 in it, like the difference at 70 miles an hour on the highway is just drastic. One has a lot of untapped potential and the other doesn't. So mine doesn't give a crap what I put on it. Even the 1/4-inch hose, it doesn't care. It's not overamping. It just doesn't really care.
It's almost like you're running a pressure washer almost.
Yeah, but it's still super quiet. Still, it runs great. And like it's fully maintainable. Everything is able to be repaired. It's a Comet pump. I can buy parts from Can Pump for whatever I need. And at the end of the day, like if I blow up the motor or I ruin a pump, like a pump is $400. A motor is like $350. Like all of the components. Like I said, it was like $1,100 deal, but it's like the control box is $200 and the shelf is $100 and the pump is $300 and this is $400. Like, and the sum of the parts is that, but it's like the most expensive individual components like $400. So like worst case scenario, it's just replace a piece of it.
I think all of these other pumps and pressure washers, I think they've reached the limit that you can run on a 15 amp circuit without overamping, without Jeff's being on the 240. I think has much more throttle that you can than you can use without overamping anything. So
I think the biggest investment would be getting an electrician basically to get your garage set up for 240, right. Which like if you already got solar or if you already got like a charger for your electric car, then you're already pretty much there.
But if you're going to run a dedicated outlet anyway, it's literally a two pole breaker instead of a single pole breaker. Like there's no cost difference between running a dedicated 120 and a dedicated 240 if you're running a dedicated outlet for your pressure washer. All it is a breaker change, and the breakers cost the same. So
I've got one set. I've got one right on the outside. Of course, all the ones for the appliances inside the house, but I've got a 240 just hanging out with the outdoor cover on it right out underneath the carport.
Yeah. And I just realized that I have one too, and I didn't even think that we had one because she's got an oven for fusing out in the garage that she uses when she has time for her art. So I can just unplug that and plug that in. Yeah.
And something
when are we getting you a pressure washer there, Greg?
I mean, something you could potentially look at doing is you have an electrician do like a 40 amp or 50 amp 240 volt outlet, and then you could run a welder, you could run a giant air compressor, you could run an oven, you could run a pressure washer. Like my pressure washer still has a plug on it. I can still plug it in and unplug it. And I cleaned a Tesla Model Y for one of my coworkers the other day. I plugged it right into the wall. I just unplugged my pressure washer because it had the 240 volt adapter. It's just an outlet like anything else.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. If it died tomorrow, I would build another one. And I loved my Krenzla. I thought it was great. I sold it to Adamo. He still has it. He still uses it.
Yep.
I had it for 4 years, 0 issues. But
changing oil and it keeps on running.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's that threshold that we're up against. I mean, I run dual Krenzlas, and I'm running 4.3, 4.4 GPM. I don't have an issue with the foam cannon or with foaming. I foam with both of them running. So I don't know if it's the limit of the foam cannon or the limit of the pressure washer not being able to produce foam. I do it with 2. So
yeah,
and
I think
do
that,
like I said, 4.5.
I think that subject has been, if everyone's been keeping track, I think it's kind of been beating a dead horse on, like, we will need some like serious engineers on that to figure out what the actual issue. I'm sure we all have theories, but I don't think we can figure that out between the Brady bunch here. Franco, so what can't you live without? I have an idea, but I want to ask you anyways.
Oh, you know exactly what I'm going to say. My little invention, or innovation, the way that Carlos Serrano says it, my stick shift bucket dolly. Yeah. I mean, I can live without it, of course. It's nothing to move a couple of buckets from one side of the vehicle to the other. And I do, yeah, you're just now a user of it too, but the 2 bucket method, even when you're doing your rinseless, like, yeah, but having the bucket dollies is great, but having that stick shift handle that I call it, attached to the dolly to hold bottles, to hold towels, to easily move the buckets back and forth all over the place. It's yeah. That's
I
my
can't
jam
wait
right
to
there.
save my back.
Oh, dude. Oh, you
I'm a
already
little
saved your
guy.
back.
I'm only
You already
5'2".
have one. You
So,
already
what's
have
that?
one. You
Yeah, I
already
know,
have
but
one.
I got to push my dual buckets individually. So I'm just,
Oh,
Adamo got his for
spoiled.
free, but he spent $150 to get it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used
That's
to it.
messed up.
So if Franco, if we take the stick shift out of it because of nepotism, that's your little baby, so we're gonna
Yeah,
take
of
that out of
course.
it. So let's take that out of it. What's the other tool that you can't live without?
That I can't live without. It would hurt not to use it anymore, but my little half sponges. I take any rinseless, insert any rinseless sponge, name, brand. I take a large fillet knife that you would take like on a fishing trip. I slice it right down the middle, long lengthways, and then I cut my own checkered pattern in the flat side, the cut side. And I have these little flat. I use them for shampoo. I haven't used the wash mitt for probably 8 months now, 6 months. Whenever I cut them, yeah, just
I gotta say, the way you fillet those friggin' sponges, it's like you're better. Your lines are straighter than the factories. I swear to God.
But yeah, that's just another tool. It's just what I prefer using, what I end up making is what I like the best. But I'm with Jeff. I have the carton. I was just lucky enough to grab the carton, and it might be Gen 1s, but they're just the electric sprayers. One's a 2 liter, one's a 3 liter, and large capacity. It has the battery inside the actual trigger mechanism, not on the handle.
Right, that's the
But
Gen 1s.
yeah, so yeah, using electric sprayers you know
I
are
think
key
everyone
for any.
here can agree those electric sprayers are like a gift from God because I think we're all sick of pumping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Vice, you're nodding away there. What do you got for a tool besides? No, never mind.
I
Go,
would
keep
pick
going.
one tool. If I would pick one tool,
G-rated.
it would probably be a Tornador.
That's a good one.
Oh, well, okay.
I don't think I
Oh,
can do an interior without one. Welcome, Jason.
Hey there. Yeah, thanks.
So
Yeah,
go ahead,
months
Vice. Continue.
without one.
But Yeah, I mean,
What's that? What's that, Chingy?
I said, who'd want to do an interior without an air tool?
well, you'd be surprised. People don't know how much power you have when you have one. I mean, it could cut your interior from 4 hours to 2 hours just having that one tool.
And for anybody
that's probably the
watching,
one tool that has made me the most money out of any of my other tools.
yeah, and for anybody watching, like I don't have I have an air compressor. I'm too lazy to break it out just for blowing out an interior. But I use a handheld like a air blower, like an electric air blower, and it does. I say 75% of like what a Tornador. It gets the job done. Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
could work, but dog hair, I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
if it
tough.
will really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a job this weekend with a bunch of dog hair, and I don't think a blower would have gotten any of it out, to be honest.
Now you strictly. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
I just got a message for enthusiast.
You're missing out, dude.
Used one.
Never use a Tornador. Come on.
Now, Vice, are you using a Tornador brand Tornador, or are you using a different brand, like maybe some of your buddies?
I did use the Rag Company one, but what's funny is that it broke on me. So I'm in the market for another one, and I think I'm gonna go Tornador.
Okay. Well, Tornador.
You know where it actually broke for me? In the trigger.
Oh,
if
really?
you look at the trigger, there's like a little pin that goes through the trigger to keep it connected.
Right.
It just came off. I guess I'm missing like the nut. It just came off one day. And
there's Ricardo. What is Ricardo showing off?
It's the Furio attachment.
For real.
Yeah, for real.
For real is a good runner-up for me.
Have you guys used the detailed beam-in attachment?
I don't see any. I don't see a use in it personally, but I haven't personally used it now.
J Farm, I think most of them are pretty much the same thing.
I think they're pretty close.
I don't think any of them really do anything different unless you get into the point, which what's Ricardo's showing there. You have a vacuum attachment and things like that. But I think the actual Tornador part, they all do the same twister.
Yeah,
action.
It's either a straw or it's the bearing system. Whichever either way, they're both going to be serviceable parts that you're going to eventually have to replace.
Yeah.
How big of a compressor do you need to run one of those? Because I've never used one either, and I just have one of those pancake little
Tornador.
I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm guessing it's
minimum matters on CFM.
Minimum, 90 CFMs at 4.5.
4.5 CFM,
4.5
90
CFMs at 90 PSI.
Yeah, 90 PSI. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had it backwards.
That's to run it like full blown, nonstop. Like the compressor will keep up with it as you're using it. If you're just using it occasionally, you can run it with a little less. You just have to let the thing.
You have to let it catch up. Yeah,
it'll suck if you have a small pancake. To be honest, you'll have to use it and then
take a break.
Use it for 2 minutes, and then you got to wait another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
Use it again.
I'm actually planning on buying one of the roll airs from OG, the little 2 horsepower one they just released, because that does 4.5 SCFMs. I have the little Harbor Freight one right now. But yeah, Guardian's right. 4.5 at 90.
Yeah, Fortress, and I mine is a DeWalt, but Fortress has a version of it where it's almost like a hot dog type thing, but it has a platform on it, and it does 5 CFM at 90. You can go up to 120, I think, on it, but 90 is where I keep it.
That's the one I have.
10-gallon tank. I got the Fortress. I got a 27-gallon, 200 PSI, 5.1 SCFM. And that thing, I can run it as long as I want, and that thing never runs out of air.
Well, since we got you already talking, Chingy, what's the tool you can't live without?
Probably my air compressor.
Smart pick.
Yeah. It's
but the air compressor is useless without the Tornador.
It's my favorite, most prized possession. I baby it. I detail it. I keep it nice and clean. I keep the plastics nice and dressed. But yeah, it's I've had a few different compressors, and I'd rather pick this bitch up and throw it in the back of my truck than use my other ones if I go mobile. But it's a beast, man. It just goes and goes and goes. It's a little louder. I think it's 80 decibels. So it's not the quiet one, but it's just a beast. It just goes. You can run that Tornador for 10 minutes and that thing doesn't run out of air, like 10 minutes nonstop, and it'll keep blowing. And speaking of air tools, I've got the Nighthawk air tool. It's a pretty good one. All metal body, comes with an extra straw, comes with replacement parts. I got it for like $35 on the TikToky, and
your hands change color though when you use it.
What's that?
Do your hands change color after using it? All right, just checking.
No, it's a beast, man. And then I've got the mini Tornador. I got them both on swivels, so they work really good, man. And I got a 50-foot hose I use it with. I can get.
Hey, Chris M had a good comment. He was talking about he's got a smaller tank and that he needs an expansion tank. What's everybody's experience? Would you run an expansion tank or just upgrade the size of the tank on the compressor you have?
I just buy a new compressor if I need an expansion tank because that's just way too bulky.
Well, it depends on if his compressor has the SCFM to even get there. If he's not at the right SCFM, he's not getting the most out of that tool. And what's the point of having more air if you're only getting 80% performance out of that tool?
Right.
That's my thought process on it. But
yeah, I mean, realistically, there's two specs, right? There's the SCFM, which is how much air the motor can deliver while it's running, basically, and then the other number is the capacity of the tank, which is really how long it can work without the motor kicking on. So if you have the right SCFMs, it doesn't matter. Like you could have a 2-gallon tank. If you've got a compressor that does 5 SCFM and you're using a device that's 4, you're fine.
That's like
your duty cycle is high because you're running it constantly, but
that rigid's 4.5 gallons, and that's a favorite for mobile guys. It's a little.
I can't believe they stopped making that thing. That thing was awesome.
Yeah, they had it on sale last year for cheap, man. People were getting them for like $200, and you couldn't keep them on the shelves. That was.
I want to hear. There's enough compressor talk. Fernando, I swear to God, if you say compressor, I'm booting you off the show.
Say it.
Just do it.
Fernando, what do you got? What do you got for
Well, it might be worth it if I say compressor. but right now, my favorite tool is, I don't know if you can see it here.
I see it says Ryobi.
I see Ryobi, but you shouldn't use green in a green screen.
Yeah. So it's a Ryobi.
Is that the scrubber?
Yeah, it's a USB battery scrubber.
Oh.
And you add these heads, right? Just a hex brush on it. And I was using my drill, and one of the problems was you had to feather it, right? So I couldn't maintain a standard
Constant
RPM.
speed.
Yeah. Or it was going too fast or too slow, and I would get sling all over the place. With these, it's either slow or slower. It seems like there's 2 speeds, right? But for my tires, this is a game changer for me. I don't have to be scrubbing over there by hand. They're USB batteries, and it came with 2, I think. It came with a little scrubber attachment, and the 2 speeds. It doesn't go super fast, but it's fast enough where you can clean tires and floor mats, no problem. The other thing I love about it is that it has a trigger lock, so it's on off. So you're not having to feather it, and you're not holding it down to keep it running. So it
like
just
a regular
makes
hand
it.
drill. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it so much easier. For me, that was one of my pains. I hated just scrubbing the wheels by hand or the mats, and this is just a game changer for me in terms of I'm trying to make it quick or easy, right? And this makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
What's the exact name on that, Fernando? Guardian.
It's the
Want to know.
Ryobi Lithium Compact Scrubber.
Yeah,
It's at
they have also full size and one on a pole as well. If you want to do something a little bit more powerful, like on 18
yeah,
volt.
those are the 18 volt, but this is,
Right.
and I
This
put the
is the USB
description.
one.
There's
I
on
put
the
this
USB.
USB battery. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can find that at Home Depot. And they used to be $50. I think they raised it now. It says 65.
Goddamn tariffs.
$39.97. It's showing for me.
What's that,
Oh,
Jeff?
Actually, no, I take that back because it's the compact with the 2 amp. All right, 65. 65 bucks.
Ricardo, what are you doing over there?
I'm listening.
By the way, since we're on scrubbers, this is the style scrubber that Carlos was using in the video that a lot of people are asking about. It's got the flat head and it's all the way around. You can get these on Amazon, but you have to buy them with a set usually.
You know what, Dave? I
Oh.
found those on the Temu, and they sold them individually, 2-piece set, and then with an extension.
There you go.
Nice.
And the other thing is, and I'll go, everybody already pretty much said it, the electric sprayers, right? I have the Sunjo and the Fantech, and they both have their purposes. So, and I have the IK with the compressor. I have one of those too, David. But
How's that one holding up for you?
Going on 3 years now, and that thing is a tank.
Oh, no, Fernando's IK.
Oh, IK. There you go.
So the IK with the what is it? Is it the Fantech also, the X10 and the X8 pump? Or though that makes it so much easier to use all the different sprayers, right? That have the Schrader valve, and you don't have to pump. So I have the X10 and the X8 Fantech, just because again I'm trying to make it easy, and I'm lazy with that. So just compress it away with that and keep going.
Everyone's favorite.
All right, Franco.
Has Adamo told everybody his tools? Has Greg? Jason's brand new. Who's next?
Chingy hasn't. So Chingy.
Yeah, compressor.
Oh, Chingy was a compressor, man. He's born.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. My
We
bad.
got Jason,
I wanted to hear
Adamo, and
compressor
Greg.
again.
Jason.
Yeah, well, I got a little different perspective because, again, I'm not doing it as a business. I'm doing it for fun. And the dual Ryobis, I had so much fun with that setup and learned so much. And again, I love rinseless washing. I mean, I would rinseless wash any day over a pressure washer, but pressure washing and like the science behind it and just all the, especially with some of this new, the higher DPM models and the issues they're having, it's funny because like once you really study the science behind it, it's pretty obvious what the issues are. But again, like Jeff mentioned, there's fixes for it if they would just, these companies just push that too far. And I don't know, I'm anxious to see what MaxFlow brings to the table with that 4.5. Because this, again, the science behind what they're doing, the smart, that permanent magnet motor and what it can do. I mean, there's some things that I don't think even MaxFlow has their hands around what they have.
Yeah.
So it's
and they're doing
cool
a
to see what
240
happens with
volt
that.
version as well.
I think that's what he's referring to. The 4.5 is going to be a 240.
Yeah, I saw it or something like it at SEMA.
Right.
Yeah, like the prototype. Yeah.
So again, like I said, it's not that it's I would much rather rinseless wash. I mean, I don't have a drain in the shop. I mean, I get done rinseless washing, I look at the floor, I'm like, man, that was nice. There's like no cleanup, and yeah, the pressure washer just makes a huge mess, but it's just so much fun. I just again, kind of a data. I just love collecting data and compiling that and just studying that, and that's it was kind of funny because you look at Colton, this foam cannon that he's having the most success with is the Grios. Well, the main reason is the Grios has kind of the lowest dilution rate, So when you up that, it's not, you're not like it, because it's kind of an exponential when you start adding GPM.
Yeah.
So if you start out with one that already has a higher, an MJJC or something that's already like a 15-to-1, well, you ramp that up 2 or 3 times, it's just going to thin out a lot faster. Well, the Grios is already starting at a lower point. So you take that 3 times and now you're only like 30-to-1 instead of 50-to-1. So like I say, there's a lot of things behind this. And I don't understand why these pressure washer companies are so focused on just building a pressure washer and can't, make it usable.
I think it's really the difference between a marketing driven company and a engineering driven company. Like MaxFlow it's an engineer who's a nerd who's building pressure washers to be what they can be, where, a lot of these other companies are just like, like Giraffe Tools. It's like, well, it's a very marketing driven organization.
Sure.
We're gonna build something like the setup, and we're gonna build it as cheap as possible, and try to be the best deal on Amazon, and all that stuff.
I mean, the Giraffe Tools Ultra is a really cool concept, but at $1,000, I don't think it makes sense with all the other options out there on the market. So I mean, that's the thing, is it's all about marketing. They get their rush from
even with the content creators trying to push a fix. That one's kind of annoying too. It's like you're trying to position a narrative that there's some value there. And Colton today was like, I'm going to do a foam test or a comparison with all of his foam soaps. And I was like, please don't include foam in the ranking. Like, don't use foam whatsoever, because even if you put full concentrated soap in that cannon, it's going to look like shit. So don't include it. And 99% of the people out there, it's not relatable. The majority of people aren't buying the AR635, and it's like they're coming up, going circles and circles and circles. And Maddie, it's like he tried so much, and I was obsessed too. Right, I was obsessed right along with Maddie. Like, you can do it, bro. You can do it. Come on, baby. Come on. This one's gonna work. And after an hour and a half, it's like, nah, man.
What do you got to do to make it work?
It's not a detailer's machine. And
right.
Okay, there's the argument. Well, you're not supposed to have dry foam. Okay, cool. But you couldn't, even if you tried. Right? You can't have that as part of a ranking. And I made a comment on Colton's last video. Hopefully he didn't get offended, but it was like they're reaching for straws to try and find a justification, or I don't know what the right wording is for that, but it's a little frustrating. It's like, but man, it's not working.
Well, some of it.
It's all the pressure washer stuff, though, more about almost an arms race rather than actually because it's better for detailing purposes. It's more just we're trying to outdo the guy before us.
Yeah, it's not even. I don't even think it's an arm. It's just the numbers. Like you're saying, it is an arms race, but just for, hey, I got the highest GPM at 15 amps or 20 amps, and there's a position of loss. Diminishing losses here. I mean, yeah, great. You got the little extra water, and yeah, you do feel it. When you're going from a 1.2 to like a 2.3 or 3.0, but once you get over 3.0, I mean, I don't know if you're gonna really notice the difference unless you're getting into the gas pressure washers, and then you get to like where you're cutting skin with your water jet there.
That's
I
great.
would argue that once you get to like 3, there isn't a huge difference. Like, I've used dual Krenzlas, I've used other bigger units. Mine's, like I said, like 3.3. I'm not really chasing more. I could do it. I could look for a different pump. Bertolini makes a different pump that would push more out of mine. I could make it a numbers thing, but it's like, why? But
yeah, none of it is gonna make your detail any better. Like I couldn't get this done if I didn't have my 4.5 2000 psi electric pressure washer connected to a 15 amp. It's all a bunch of goofy. It's fun to get into if you're into that shit, but.
Right.
Yeah, I could care less. Y'all started talking about pressure washers. I checked out,
Well,
and the other thing is too, a lot of the numbers are lies. That's the other thing. I mean, you go to Lowe's and you look at Greenworks, and it's like, okay, and I had a Greenworks, you know, whatever. But you go to Lowe's and you look at Greenworks. There's 6 different Greenworks. They all have different numbers on them, but they all have the same motor. They all perform. You know,
isn't that the truth?
7 in the line. They make 2 different motors. Like, and it's the same for, you know, it's like Ryobi. You know, I like Ryobi makes like 2 or 3 different units, but they have 12 different units. It's like, if you're going to buy a Ryobi, just buy the cheapest one, because the cheapest one works just as well as the one that's $250, you know, or whatever. I recognize there's a different one now, but
Jason's dual 1.2s were nice. That's a good, I guess, budget friendly dual setup.
Yeah,
Jason, didn't you?
That was my favorite. I mean, it was. I mean, even now the Max Flow. I hate to say it, it has not impressed me. You know, I'm only getting 2 gallons a minute. And some of it is, it's only putting, for some reason, my unit is only doing like 14.6 amps. So I think if that would actually be up closer to that 15 amp, like a lot of other people's are doing, it might put out that 2.3 gallons a minute. But and again, 2 isn't bad, but for the price, for $500, I don't know that that's really, you know, I'm not sure that was worth it, because, you know, that the Active 2.0 is, you know, not that much, and with the updates, it's, you know, pretty decent.
I think the Max Flow would probably outlast the Active or the, I don't know. I'd like to see long term how they hold up, because they're water cooled and it's a permanent magnet. Like there's some technology differences there.
Right.
The Max Flow can almost be, I don't know that annoying is the right word, but like it's got safeties in it that can be almost annoying. Like Christie's Max Flow, there's been a couple of times where like she didn't purge the line long enough, and like when it turned on, it ran and ran and ran, and then it like shut off, and she had to like unplug it and plug it back in and restart it, because it like tripped the safety, which the safety is awesome for somebody who maybe doesn't know what they're doing, but it's like it's almost a little too sensitive, if that makes sense. Like almost.
I'm sure there'll be someone to jailbreak it eventually, and you'll be able to get into messing with it.
For the whole chat, before we get to Greg and somebody else's, you know, tools of choice, since we're on pressure washers, I mean, the whole point of a pressure washer really and truly is, you know, of course, if you're mobile, yes, but minus that, home pressure washers are just for. Yeah, and this is just my opinion, but they're just for making foam, using foam cannons. You could, you know, how many of y'all could survive, you know, how many of y'all could wash like I do with just hoses and a bucket of shampoo and a couple of sprayers, or maybe an IK foamer, you know? How many of y'all could, you know?
I think we all could. I just don't desire to.
Would you be happy with it?
No.
A pressure washer on wheels, getting all the brake dust off on the
I do that with hoses, bro.
There's a reason why car soap sells better than rinseless.
Yeah. And actually, a pressure washer uses significantly less water too. So in a place where
absolutely, no, you're absolutely right
for water.
I think you're an outlier though, Franco. You got a lot of PSI coming out just your hose. Most of us don't have that.
I think it's to blame on the guns. It's the Kiev nozzle was key for me, and then finding the large orifice, the 30.0 orifice soft wash pressure washer nozzles. But yeah, I do have. I don't have Kiev level house pressure, but yeah, I have pretty decent pressure out of the hose. So yeah.
Yeah, my house is like, I want to say 75 is what it's set to outside. When you get above like 80, that's when you start having problems with like pipes, water heater failures, issues with PEX, problems with filter canisters, your fridge filter, like weird things like that. A lot of that's rated for like 80 to 100 max. So generally the idea is you don't go over 80. It's funny, nobody touched on it, but I would say the thing that actually makes my garage the most enjoyable is my stereo. I didn't even think of it when we were talking.
I said that last episode. That's my favorite thing. I even showed off my UE boom.
I have those Dyne Audio LYDs in the NAD C658, and I love to just crank it when I'm out there. I hate making video. Like, I actually don't like making videos because I can't play music while I'm doing them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sucks.
Exactly.
That's a fact.
So yeah. We'll touch back on the music here in a bit, but let's go, Greg. What is your tool of choice? What's your jam?
Okay, so let me just preface it by saying, and Yes, Dave. I have had some issues with pressure washers. I lost 3 pressure washers between April of last year and the end of June.
What brand were those?
Two the original actives and 1 Harbor Freight. And
What are you doing to them?
Using them. I'm not doing anything to it. And I'm, I don't do it for a business. So, so I've got a second Harbor Freight. My buddy that moved to Uruguay this past fall had a couple things that he gave me, like 150 vinyl records, a bunch of other things. And one of the items was another Harbor Freight pressure washer. So I'm using that until I can figure out what I want to get. Good input tonight on this. What's that?
You should get the quiver when it comes out next year.
Well, yeah, next year. Yeah. So I'll go
June.
to.
We're going to get GTA 6 before we get a quiver pressure washer.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with a couple things. With one that has been mentioned, and then something Jeff was mentioning is the electric sprayers. I've got a Carton and a X-Foamer, and I've got a couple of the IKs with the Schrader valve on them. I really like using those. And I just got a hookup from Franco on extending the actual sprayer on it. And what are those connectors called, Franco?
Oh, the splice ones.
Yeah,
The quick
The quick connects.
the quick connect on the hoses. And so I can use multiple chemicals on those and take them off. And I have another relatively cheap one that I just have water in, and I'll use that to spray those hoses out to make sure that they're nice and clear. But my biggest thing that I use, and I use it a lot, and you've probably seen it in the couple videos that I put out, is I had a knee replacement done 3 years ago this month, and I no longer can kneel on my left knee. I no longer can squat like I used to squat. So my Viper chair, which is the original Viper chair that Viper sold, I use that all the time. And so that probably is the one that I cannot live without. If something happened to it, I would have to get something else to replace it. And the other thing, since my last thing is, since my leaf blower grew legs and walked away a couple of weeks ago, I love that for a couple of reasons. Number one, to clear the driveway off before I get started. Because where I do some of the washing, there's a lot of stuff where I do some of when I'm over the house doing the things that I need to do. We live out in the country in a wooded area, so always got to spray that off or air that off. So new one coming by the 5th, I think. So I'll have that sometime, I think, early next week.
What brand did you buy?
I brought the same one, the Ryobi Whisper, because I still had batteries, and so
they took the blower, but not the battery, not your extra batteries.
Well, the extra battery I have it charging and locked away where that one should have been. But I've never had issues. As long as we've lived here, never had any issues.
Well, just drive through the neighborhood and see which one of your neighbors is using your blower.
Yeah, I've tried that. Didn't work out too well.
That's right.
I took.
Who suddenly has a nice yard?
Yeah, a nice clean yard, clean driveway. And with that, I will turn it over to the guy on my right, Adamo. Go ahead.
Well,
finish it up.
You better
going
say
last.
it, man.
Everybody's already taken most of, but you're like Greg just touched on it. The Viper chair. Yeah, polishing the side of a car. I use that in conjunction with my my quick jacks.
You got quick jacks too?
Yeah,
She's got all the goodies.
Yeah, my quick jacks. If I'm doing wheels and tires, coatings on wheels and tires. I do summer changeovers as well for some customers. So you take off their winter wheels and
Winter
tires, put on their summers. But having it up at that, I guess 24-inch level, and sitting in the chair and being able to polish, with your arms resting on the armrests of the Viper.
I'm getting FOMO so bad right now, dude.
Yeah.
I was walking the dog, and my neighbor, maybe 2 blocks over, has an outdoor lift in his backyard.
Nice.
And I wanted to go knock on his door because I was like, I need to be friends with you,
Exactly.
In his backyard, dude. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, Jingy, get the Vibor quick jacks. They're a lot cheaper and it's affordable.
Yeah, I don't.
You know,
I don't cheap out on things.
Something.
What's the worst that's gonna happen? A car's gonna fall on you?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. And my cars are low enough to kill me.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, those two in conjunction with each other, polishing, lower parts of the doors, or and whatnot. Those really play really well off each other. And I don't know if this is a tool, but some people, some people call them Swiss tracks and whatnot. Mine are Easy Tiles. They're a Canadian company, so I just bought mine here. My wife was against it at the beginning, to do the whole garage in Easy Tiles or quick Swiss tracks or whatnot. But after going through a winter and not tracking anything in and out of the garage into the house, everything kind of stays in the garage. She's like, "This is the best investment we ever made."
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to respond to BTW. So when I bought my Viper chair, I think they were only like $300, quite a few years ago.
Oh wow!
Yeah, if my house burned down tomorrow, it'd be one of the first things I bought for my new garage.
Yeah.
The one annoying, and I have 2 Viper chairs. I could easily go down to one, but the one thing I will say is annoying is they keep releasing all these special editions, and it's like I bought an original black one, tall and short, and now I want the bright orange one, but I'm not going to spend $600 on an orange chair to sell mine on Facebook Marketplace to some asshole that's not even going to show up for $300. You know what I mean? So I just deal with the fact that mine's black perpetually because, but they do all these special editions, and I wish that they would do a special edition upgrade kit. Let me buy just the risers in orange or pink or purple or green or blue or whatever, and upgrade my existing chair that I bought from you in the early days before you had all the special editions.
You should just get it reupholstered, Jeff.
Well, I actually. So
we've had this discussion
when they did the whatever it was called, the signature edition or whatever. It was the one that had the plaid top and it was all orange. I was going to buy one of those chairs, and it was like $650.
It was this close
with the tool tray. It was like $650, and I actually really like the Robust Steel Pro that I have, which is the low one. And I was talking to Adamo about it. I'm like, I'm going to sell this one for $300 to buy that one for almost $700. I'm like, I guarantee you I could get these risers powder coated, and I could get the top pad reupholstered, and it would be way less money than I'm going to spend on that, and I would have the chair that I actually want. So I am going to chase that this year.
That's a good idea.
I have a short-term goal of finding a powder coater friend because I want to redo all of my cabinet doors on my Sonic cabinets too.
Make them all one color.
Yeah.
Yo, Greg, I'm sorry, just real quick, guys. I just sent Christy a link to the show, and if she decides to pop on, I'll bow out backstage.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Sounds good.
If she wants to make an appearance, yeah.
All right. We have some questions here before we have some questions before we go on to the next subject.
I have a feeling that Christy is 15 minutes of technical difficulties away from being in a waiting room. So let's chill for a minute. I love her, but computers are not her friend.
All right. Dave, what's our first question here?
Jason asks, I'm still running the stock Sunjo hose and sprayer. I'd be interested in upgrading. Open suggestions?
Oh yeah, I'll send you the links I sent Conway. Just go to I don't know if you want a 25-foot hose or what, but I can send you. It's all keyed, man. It's all at the tip of your fingers. You just gotta watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got.
Do you think?
We're all making him rich.
Do you
Yeah.
think that my setup? Do you think my setup with the quick connects would play well with that hose from the Sunjo?
It's sort of a cheap hose. It's not very
Yeah, it's not.
flexible.
It's quite
You don't
stiff.
you don't feel like it's spliceable?
Yeah, I
No.
mean, you could splice it. You could do all that. I've done it.
Oh, okay.
But your quick connects, you'd have to throw some gardenias on there to attach to the
Sunjo, anyways.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mhm.
The nozzle on that one's built into the machine, so it's not removable.
Yeah.
But yeah, Keith's got it all. Probably the one who can tell you exactly how to do it is Ricardo. He did exactly what Keith put on there, and just put the adapters, and then went right to gardenias, and
That's all I did. Put the adapters, and I use a Flexzilla hose.
Yeah, and I was going to Chase this year doing
Okay.
like a rinseless setup. It's on my short list. It'll probably be like Q3 or Q4 that I'll do it. But I thought about getting a keg, connecting it to my compressor, and just setting up a regulator so that it was just running constantly, and having like a hose reel on the wall, like a low pressure air hose reel, and being able to just pull it out, spray whatever I wanted to do, have a keg that's got 5 gallons of mixed rinseless, whatever I choose in it, and just be able to do it like I do with my pressure washer on the wall.
I could even see having 2 different hoses, one where you could use a shotgun, and another one where you can use a mister. I think the mister works better for rinseless, but the shotgun would be good for rinsing if you're using your Sunjo.
So I actually have, Capri makes it. It's an air blower, like if you worked at a machine shop or whatever, and you're trying to blow chips off your machine, right? So I have a Capri. It's like a handheld. It looks like a shotgun, and it's got 1/8 inch NPT threads on it, which the sprayer solutions tips are all 1/8 NPT.
Oh.
So I thought that I could actually just chuck that into like a 3/8 air hose, because it's low pressure. They go up to 300 PSI anyway, and just use that shotgun with like a sprayer solutions tip. And I could do 40 degree, 30 degree, 25 degree, like whatever I wanted. Or something like, I don't know, like a foam tip, maybe even, or something different, you know?
Bro, we need a video.
Yeah, like I said, it's on my short list. I thought of 2 different ways to do it: either pressurizing a keg or doing something with like a transfer pump, having like a container, like my plastic water container that I have with a transfer pump. Either way, it could work. So it's like $400 worth of parts. It's all in my cart in Amazon. I just need to like actually do it. But I have to get a couple months ahead on the Porsche before I start buying more stuff. Honestly, I'm a little broke right now.
Hey, real quick before we get to the next question, we've got 4 more questions, and then we'll move on to the next subject.
Yeah.
Franco Christie is in the backstage, so as soon as we get done
throw
with
me backstage. I'm not scared.
Oh, I get to kick
sure?
him out. Kick him out.
Kick him out.
Peace out,
I
fellas.
use the impact nozzles to answer the question. I've used both, but I like the impact nozzles better.
Yeah.
SNI 4004 or whatever.
Well, hello, Christy.
Hi.
Welcome to the boys club.
Hey, Christy.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yep, loud and clear.
Yep. All right,
Yeah.
David. Next
Sorry.
question, David. Hold on. I'm sorry,
No.
Christy.
I was just going to say I'm not going to stay long. I just popped in to say hello. But yes, please continue.
All right.
Okay.
We already answered the second question. Jeff answered directly to Jason. So move on to the
All
next.
right, thank you.
All right. J Farm asks, which Tornador style tool is the best? There are many different ones out there.
I don't know which one's the best. I use the TRC one, the little black, because it's black. Basically, because it's black. That's the only reason why.
I'm same with Jeff. I agree with him.
I've never used it.
fine.
But I've been really happy with the Nighthawk. I liked it so much. I bought a second one.
They're all pretty similar. So it's, some use the whipping straw, and the other, some
bearing.
use the bearing with the. So I mean,
I think we can all agree though the Rupes design sucks.
Haven't tried it, so
Yeah, well, your hand's blocking like half the usage of it, so like that's why I think the design just sucks. But everything else I think is equal footing. It blows air, so your compression is mostly
they all do the same like tornado style blowing feature.
Yeah, I would just say get something that has parts and rebuild ability.
Rebuild kits,
Like
I agree.
If you get a bearing based one, just make sure you can buy the bearings or buy a couple extras because you're going to need them at some point, and you don't want to go get a $70 thing over a $4 bearing.
Yeah,
I think it was Bob upgrades lately is the kind of the metal lined cones for the Tornador type, for the straw type, so that you don't wear out the cone as quickly.
Yep.
I think Bob did a test with the two different, one with the whip hose and the other one with the bearings. He did a test where the one with the bearing uses, I think it was more air, needed more air to keep it running compared to the other one that has the whip hose on it. So the original Tornador, right? Yeah. So yeah, he did a test and compared the two, and the one of them uses less air. So that might be a
factor.
A factor, whatever you have for a compressor. If it's not, that 4.5 horsepower or whatever it was, maybe the hose might be better for you.
All right. Well, next one. Chelsea Bailey asks, "What did you guys think of the?"
Her name's Chelsea.
My bad. Chelsea Bailey. What did you guys think of the latest products that Eddie Cologne tested for Detail Coat? I'm assuming it's the mystery coating and
or was it what Jamie tested?
Wheel and tire.
Yeah,
Christy.
Exciting is the one
as soon as you said wheel and tire, Christy's like, excuse me.
Wheel and tire, I don't think got off well. I saw a lot of people say some negative things as far as they weren't impressed. Let's just say that about the demonstration.
There's too many on the market now. The one that is not on the market is the one that took the glass.
Well, he was also the dilution was also the weakest dilution. He said it was like the 10-1 or 15-1. So I mean, for 10-1 or 15-1, I still saw some browning going on. I mean, that was definitely doing its thing, and it seemed like it had good dwell time. From what I saw, it was a nice foam that covered a lot of real estate. I was more impressed than others. I was kind of shocked by that, actually.
So
what do you guys think?
Something to keep in mind, he had just a sample, and the sucky part is once you dilute a sample, you can't go back. And I'm sure you dealt with that, Christy, with you dilute something out, now you're just stuck. And so it's kind of like you just got to run with what you got. And
not to mention,
just remember there are people out there that are happy with Breakbuster.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it from a standpoint of when I was at Eddie's place and the coating that he was testing, and then he put it on that red Charger. Huh? Yeah.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Got wet after 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I saw that live. I saw it put on live. We wiped it off, and we did a bunch of testing with it, and it was pretty impressive.
Which mystery coatings are you guys most excited for? Josh B's mystery coating with the dancing beads, or the you can get wet really quick with the Detail Coat one?
I think both.
Do we have
that sounded really bad. I apologize if I offended anybody.
Yeah, I think both. Like Chingy said, I mean, they are the way that those are beads are dancing. You saw that live?
Yeah.
Chingy, that was amazing. Yeah, so
I think the 3 minute release time. I mean, no one's doing that, right?
Nope.
But
that would be huge.
You can release it in non-ideal weather.
That's what I said to Eddie. In the winter, I can't do coatings because and this is Celsius, so it's it's minus 40 degrees Celsius here, and it's 23 degrees in the garage, so it's tropical, t-shirt and shorts, but I can't release a car to go outside because there's a 40-degree temperature change from inside the garage to outside, and I can't, some coatings need time to cure. So if it's 3 minutes, take my money, and I can start doing coatings in the winter. So
only problem is shipping is going to cost you like $50 just to get there.
Yeah, we'll deal with that.
So last question for this round, and let's keep this one quick. Go ahead,
Joseph Bailey asks, what did you guys think of the display from Yum? Rinseless mix with detailer and the ceramic spray. So I'll just say mine really quick on this one. I think it's great for whoever wants to do it. I'm fine with just spraying detailer on the car after I've done rinseless. I don't need the mix, but that's just me.
Yeah, same here.
Anyone else have anything to say on that?
I haven't done it. I don't know if I'm going to.
I haven't tried it myself yet either. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, the two or the three separate products are top notch.
Yeah, top notch. Yeah. I just like touching my car, so I don't mind playing with my car afterwards. So
yeah, I tried it, and basically,
what I will say about Yum, though, if you guys don't mind me saying, I think it just again goes to show though how synchronous his products are, and it's just a testament to how well he has, really gone through the R&D with his products and the chemicals that they literally all work together like very harmoniously. I think that's a really cool thing. I don't know many brands that can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a testament to their chemist.
Yeah, I think that's kind of special. Other than whether you want to use it or not, just the ability that you can do that, I think is pretty fantastic.
Such a great point, Christy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The amazing thing on that too is
all right, guys, I can't stay on much longer. I got to get going, but I love seeing your faces. Sorry I was late tonight, but it's been busy. So
it's all good.
No worries.
I'm gonna pop out.
Thanks for coming.
Take care,
Good
Christy.
night, Christy.
Have a good one, Christy. Thank you.
All right, let's bring the other guy back if we have to.
Jason had a point before.
Yeah, with just like what Christy said. I mean, you look at what Nick developed. I mean, Yum Detailer was what, like 5 years ago, and then Rinseless was only done in the last year. So here's two things that were developed at totally different. They were never made to work together from the start. It's just that as he develops these things, that and that's the cool part. But
you said that they were developed 2 years ago. Are you sure of that?
Rinseless was just released a year ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Ceramic was like a while ago. Detailer was the one that was like
Nick didn't really care about Rinseless, and I remember Eddie saying because Eddie's the big rinseless guy, right? And Nick comes over and Eddie's all about rinseless for that very first adventure when he went to Salt Lake City and rented the Bentley and drove over in there in the Bentayga, and Adamo bought them lunch at the Italian restaurant, all that stuff, that whole adventure. It seemed like Nick didn't care about rinseless, and then he made his first rinseless, sent Eddie a demo of it, and Eddie was like pissed. He's like, this is so good.
Now he's got to make Nemesis V2.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, now I have to make Nemesis. Yeah, that was his response. Now
back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And then
that was the rare part when
it's funny because Eddie got a sample of that, and he sent me like a ball jar, a little glass jar with like 4 ounces in it. I sent like half of it to Christy, a little bit to Adamo, and like we all got to play around with it. It was really good. It's got very high cleaning power.
Super. But I think for the home user,
doing that. The 256 to 1 to 1. So basically putting the 1 ounce of Yum and the 1 ounce of the Quick Detailer. To me, it felt just like Nemesis. I mean, so like if you think of how Nemesis has that kind of nice, more little bit, nicer wipe off, just an edge over Yum.
Don't say slick.
All it did was bring it up that step.
Well, I think when I talked to Nick, what was cool about he said even though he made all these products at different times, every time he makes a new product, he keeps in mind all his other products, and he wants to make sure that they're going to have good synergy together. Like he said that about the rinseless and the coatings and everything like that. He said that, like when he made the coatings, he wanted to play well with his ceramic spray so that there wouldn't be any issues. Same thing with the detailer. So I think that's a testament to him not, obsoleting his other products when new stuff comes out. So that's great that his chemist and his team are able to keep that in mind when they do that stuff.
Yeah, I was explaining that to Outdoor Detailer on his last video, that although the products are good by themselves, they're more designed as a system to work together, and that's why some of them may or may not, in my opinion, has some limitations, but when you combine them and run them together, that's where they really find their groove.
See, and to me, if you're running a business and obviously you're looking at the bottom line and cost per use, the fact that it's a system and it works together and it's going to make everything more efficient can kind of account for some of the expense for the product itself.
But from a business point of view, would you use something like that instead of, would you use Yum, period, to start off with? It seems like it's very pricey for a business, right? Where you could use Nemesis.
Let me tell you, I used Yum ceramic the other day on a motorcycle. That thing was popping.
Yeah. Which one? Oh, you're talking about just a sealant?
Yeah, just the ceramic sealant. Yeah.
Okay.
It works really good.
It does.
I don't know. I think you can pick and choose some products.
I'm not a professional detailer, but I think I'd want to use the best the products that provide me with the best experience, because time is money, and because like in the grand scheme of things, if you're detailing professionally, chemicals are a small part of your hard cost. Your time is way more valuable than anything else that you do.
A very
Absolutely.
small part of the, it doesn't matter if you're using the most expensive chemicals out there per 1632 or gallon. It all divides into single servings, and I just the crybabies talking about, oh, that's too expensive.
Yeah, Franco did the math the other day.
Yeah, there's some gallons that I wouldn't buy. Like, it's for me personally, DIY's gallons are just way too expensive. But in the wash, like, they still break down very cheaply. Like, and I'm not saying like you're still paying like $20 a wash for their products, but there's better products out there that work, way more in my opinion. But when you have competitor A and B, and their gallon is at $55 and DIY's at $100, like, that's a hard sell for me personally. But still, with me saying that, I can still admit that at $100, it's still going to break down to just a few dollars a wash. Like, it's not.
Well, it also depends too. Like DIY Incredible Suds dilutes at 300 to 1 is what is the PIR you're supposed to use, 3% PIR or 0.3 PIR, where like GSF dilutes at 100 to 1. So DIY would need to be 3 times the cost of GSF to be equal to that in like cost per wash.
But at but at those dilutions, 300 to 100 to 1, or whatever you just said, DIY is not that much more powerful. Like, and I've used the products. I can say this. It doesn't matter if they're more dilutable, if they're not, as strong as cleaners as they should be at that dilution, then what's the point?
I guess that's fair. Yeah. I mean, I would say GSF is probably about the most expensive wash you could have outside of something like Swiss Vax or Carbon Collective or one of like the more boutique brands.
Yeah.
And even GSF is like $2.50 a wash. If you use the full cannon, it's like $2.40, I think, is what it works out to.
But what breaks down with that, because you admit that GSF is just your go-to. That's something you like to use. Yeah. So
I don't think it's the best. I just like it. I like the scent. I like the float on the mitt. I like I like it. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I think that plays a big factor is user experience. Like, not necessarily has to be the best. It just has to be, whether it be scent or how you get along with it on your vehicle. It's all about your experience.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, the word experience, but it's all boils down to bias, right? So take Yum for example. I'm willing to justify 16 cents per vehicle for their detailer, for their $80 detailer, however much that costs.
Yeah.
But the $80 price tag for the rinseless, that to me is just like, there's no way I can't do it.
Yeah.
Because I won't do that for a rinseless.
Yeah.
So there's bias there, and so user experience is just another way of saying it's your own personal bias towards a specific iron remover. I started all kinds of shit in the groups.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, is that you?
And 100 comments later, it's like there's a lot behind the scenes with R&D and RAWs and this and that, and that's a cool dialogue. We need to get someone on the pod for that, but it was just sticker shock when you've got other products that can do
way
multiple
better.
things at the same time for less,
That don't have the
or
added
one that's half the
surfactants to make it
cost.
bubbly. Yeah.
Yeah, so bias comes down to a big one. You know, Jeff just loves GSF, right?
Well,
I've
and
never
I
found
think
that. It's just
like
bias.
at the end of the day, if you did all the math and it's like, you use GSF and you use Yum Wheel and you use Detailer and if I used all my go-to products, would it be $4 to wash my car?
Yeah.
Like it's still cheaper than
Franco did the math. It's like
it's still
you
cheaper
get the
than
cheapest stuff. It's like $2. The most expensive maximum is like
it's
$10.
still cheaper than a Scratch-O-Matic car wash. I mean,
Mhm.
my car payment's fucking $1,000 a month. So what do I care about, $16 a month to wash the darn thing so that it's not depreciating as fast? Like in the
You know,
total cost of ownership of your average vehicle, the washing and maintenance is it's less than oil changes, it's less than tires, it's less than
Mhm.
the payment, it's less than insurance, it's less than almost anything else that we pay for.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what
so
you know what I'm having a
Gas, I could
realization.
wash my car for a year probably.
I'm having a realization right now that it's not the cost of the chemicals that bothers me. It's the people bitching so much about, oh, I can't afford that. Like, I would never buy that. No, you would never buy it because you can't, and quit bitching about it. I think that's, it's not the cost of the chemicals. It's use what you like. You like GSF. I like this. Chingy Blingy likes that. Quit bitching about the cost of, if you can't afford it, don't talk about it. I think that's my
or if you just
takeaway
if
from
you just
this.
don't want to spend the money, it's not
Yeah.
necessarily a thing they can't afford it. They just don't want to spend that much money. And let me just say this: that you guys have segued into the next one so well.
Yeah.
I almost don't have to say anything. So let me just start this off by saying that this week there have been a couple pretty good videos that have been put out about car soaps. And one of the questions that comments that Chingy was talking about on the call the other day when we were talking was what came down to some of the soaps that were being used, and the question, and I may not say this the right way, and if you would like to go ahead and ask the question of the panel, Chingy, that's fine with me. With regards to the content creator soaps,
The influencer,
So
that's what it was. The influencer.
yeah, it was the influencer soaps, and take away that name. But people new to the industry that were making content, because I mean, an influencer can be anybody by definition.
Mhm.
And it was Clean, it was Detail Co, it was
Quiver.
Blue Crush by High Luster, made by Rob Caputo, and what was the other one, guys? There was
Quiver.
Josh
Quiver.
Weir.
Yeah.
Josh Free.
And I think it spurred a lot of good conversation because I pivoted to, well, maybe that's not even the right question of which one's the best, right? In between them. The right question is, how could these soaps made by newbies with less than 2 years on the market be going punch for punch with industry mainstays who have years and years in R&D? How could they be on the same field, the same playing field, either out punching or going punch for punch with these giants overnight, right? Whether you think they're the best or you hate them and can't stand them and you refuse to buy them because you don't like the people, go use the soap and then tell me they're no good. They may not be the best.
I think the answer to that is it's not that hard to make quality soaps. Though the formulas are out there. Let's talk about the blenders real quick.
That's what I was just going to say. The blenders
Yeah.
have such a catalog that you can pick from that are 90% there. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the blenders, let's like I've used this analogy before in the Discord, but let's talk about it here. There's a formula out there. Click flour, eggs, milk, sugar. That's how you make a cake. The blenders are like the different shops that, this is not a white labeled cake. That's the formula for the cake. What you're gonna put on top, Hershey's chocolate versus the semi-sweet, 70% Venezuelan chocolate, like all those little ingredients makes the baker, that's what these blenders do. So, when you have Eddie and Jamie coming in from being actual detailers, being in the field, and then having a YouTube channel, and then having a company, you're having guys that have been eating cake, i.e., detailing since forever. So they know what to tell their blenders, what I'm looking for in this soap. So
Yeah.
the actual making of the soap isn't that hard. It's just finding the right people to say, like, I need lubricity, I need this, I need Josh V, I need everything sun friendly, and I need it to
Yeah, I
work,
think
and I need it
that was
foam.
my
Yeah,
point, right? Is
yeah,
and I think Gary Riggs brought up an excellent point too. It's look at McGuire's, this huge corporation. I'm sure they've got this huge executive board. It's probably harder to pivot and improve their soaps, even though some of them are good.
yeah.
It's harder to get that ball rolling for them than it would be someone who's making smaller batches and can pivot a lot quicker.
Being able to make the tweaks and stuff. Yeah,
and get to the lead pack, right? I thought that was
Yeah,
a
you,
good question to ask.
It's like, I mean, maybe Adams Polishes isn't like your favorite brand, right? But we know that like it's a pretty well-rounded brand, and everything they make is pretty decent, right? And their shampoo is good, and a lot of people use it for a long time. But so like B&B Blending owns Adam Polishes, or Adams own, like whatever. There's a connection there. Like you could easily just go to B&B and say, hey, I want something similar to this. I want it to smell like that. I want it to be this color. And they're going to deliver something that's 90% of what the Adams soap is, or something similar to that. And it's like, that's your starting point, right? You test it and you say, okay, I want it to be a little bit thicker, or a little bit more concentrated, a little bit different scent, a little bit more cleaning power.
With that being said, do you think it's easier for Eddie and Jamie and Josh and all these smaller companies to make a tweak than it is like a mass production type like Adams or McGuire's or Turtle Wax?
Yes.
Yeah,
I do
think so. Yeah, look at Pan. He didn't even go a full year before he went V2.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to also consider like McGuire's and Turtle Wax. They're not gonna, piss off their base. I mean, they're not just dealing with a small subset community. They're dealing globally. They make a tweak, you could piss off half your audience like that, and there goes your business.
And that's how you become a chemical guys with 10 different soaps, because you don't want to ostracize the people that really liked your honeydew, so you make a new one, or whatever instead.
Isn't part of the consideration? Isn't part of the consideration too that you got the big companies, McGuire's, Turtle Wax, and all that? They're buying bulk of the chemicals, the raw materials,
the raws,
so they can't just make a switch because they got to go through whatever they have on hand.
I mean, at this point too, McGuire's, Turtle Wax, and some of the bigger brands, I doubt that their blenders are in-house at this point. They're not using an outside blender at this point. So they got giant vats.
Stuff. Yeah. McGuire's is blending their own stuff. And Eddie and Jamie, they work with Willy Wonka, and he's working with them on their own stuff. Thor blending is a thing now. Armor is, we see like the videos that Bradley has put out, kind of working with and blending his own stuff as well. Like we're seeing more of that. Horizon Manufacturing and Monkey Head, High Luster has their own, their own blending in house. They're doing
High Luster and Blue Crush. Rob, I know Jason had tested a couple of variations. I think I tested version 1 and 2. It was, he got my opinion, he got Jason's opinion. He went back, used, at one point color was too much, so he, dialed back on color. I think smaller companies have the ability to make those adjustments quickly. Maybe bigger companies have, the CEO, the CFO, they got to go through 10 different, channels to make one decision, where it's Rob making the decision on Blue Crush, or it's Eddie and Jamie making the decision on Detail Co. Jason, did you think the same thing when you were able to test Blue Crush? I mean, we were dealing with Rob, and then Rob was dealing with Deanna at High Luster.
Yeah, it was cool
That's
because at one point he had 2 different scents, and it was like, you know, and at first it was kind of like, oh, that, you know, because I mean the blueberry was such a, I mean, it was an obvious, that was great. And then the other one was kind of like, well, it's different, but it, again, it, you know, I'm glad he just stuck with the blueberry because that did, I mean, that was the best one for sure. But yeah, it was interesting to have those little tweaks. And
let's tweak the conversation just a little bit, like, you know, like how we started off. It's the influencers of Eddie and Jamie with Thor, Josh V, Pan and Rob. Which of those would you consider influencers? I mean, you know, like, you know, starting off as influencers. You know, my take on it is Eddie, Jamie, and Josh were all detailers. They created a company. I wouldn't put them in the influencer category. Well, now you got Rob, which he, you know, anybody sends him a air inflator and he's doing a video. I put that more in the influencer,
Same thing with Pan.
category. Same with Pan. Pan isn't necessarily a full-time detailer, but his channel did start, and he's been around the longest, but I would put him more in the influencer style too. Like, you know, let's hear from Vice. We haven't heard from Vice in a minute.
I would say they're all influencers. I mean, if you think about it, let's say, for example, Eddie. Has Eddie influenced you on making a purchase?
Yeah, but prior to making the soap, was he an influencer?
I would say so, yeah. I mean,
agree.
anybody that reviews products on the internet and tells you their opinion, in essence, is an influencer.
Do you feel like they started off as an influencer? I'm talking about like influencer only.
Well, it doesn't matter how they started out. It's what they are, because what they are is what they're selling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're selling now. They're influencing now because they have a company. I don't think he was influencing much before. He was just detailing. And
no,
we just
I would argue against
kind of
that. He's the reason I bought
negative-
Hero. He's the reason that I tested a whole bunch of, like, he's the reason I got an armor detail supply in the first place, because you know, Bradley and what's his name were on his DJ were on his channel, and they did all the Keep It Real podcasts. He's the reason I bought Ethos coatings, or, you know, like I would say that he became an influencer like really when he started doing Keep It Real. That's in my opinion, at least, and that was before Detail Co and Thor and all of that.
I bought Crystal Wash because of him. I bought all kinds of stuff.
I think everything moved very quickly with Jamie and Eddie, like where they went from detailer to influencer very quickly. So that's why I think that they're in that mix where they could be either or. But Pan and Rob are straight up influencers. Like they'll sell you whatever, you know, that you put in front of them. You know what I mean? I mean, I think Pan's video today had nothing to do with detailing. I think he was doing household hacks today. So I mean, that's why I put him in the, you know, influencer only. You know.
Yeah,
who just happened to make it.
Not that influencer is a bad thing.
No, we're not trying to put a negative connotation on it. No, not at all.
That's the problem is people do. I mean, let's not avoid that. That's a fact. You use that word like you would use a racial slur, right?
Well, there's a difference between being an influencer and being a shill or a cuck, or, you know, somebody like that that's just pushing products in order to push products. Like, I mean, if you're testing products that you're legitimately interested in and you're giving an honest perspective on that product, like, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, but Jeff influences me to buy stuff all the time.
Jeff is the biggest influencer.
I was going to say,
Jeff is one of the biggest.
It's not a bad thing, you know.
No, I was going to say, Fernando is the biggest influencer here because he got a whole bunch of people in the chat to buy that Ryobi scrubber.
Right.
I mean, sometimes Jeff isn't even a video. It's a phone call, and it's like, hey, we should look at this, and I'm like, shit.
Listen to this wisdom nugget. Like, what do you got to say, Fernando? How do you feel about the influencer versus like detailer?
Anybody on YouTube is an trying to influence. I mean, they're putting out their opinion, and it's gonna impact somebody's judgment, right? Just watching even Chingy's, that he doesn't talk, right? But he puts all these beads on there. It's like, hey, I got to go get Yum Serum 4 or 6, whatever you have on there. It's like, yeah, it makes me want to think, hey, I need to go get that. And so I think all of them are influencers. They're all talking, and either they're saying yes or no. Regardless, if they're saying, yeah, this is the best product or this sucks, they're influencing somehow, right? You won't go buy it if they say it sucks. So regardless on their opinion.
How far down that rabbit hole do you want to go? Like,
but
if I'm talking to somebody on the phone, am I influencing them to buy something where it's just a one-on-one conversation?
Greg,
like, there's so many different facets.
Read the definition; it's expansive.
Conway had a great point. I just told him in the chat. But Conway, are they influencers or are they advertising their stuff? You know, like, are they?
Well, they're advertising now for sure.
Yeah, especially because they have their own stuff now. But now are they out of the influencer category, and now are they just advertising their stuff?
I think that's where Pan ran into a lot of problems in the beginning when he first got clean, because he was having trouble, figuring out how is he gonna go from being an influencer for many products and being, have parity between his decisions and saying that he's, equal footing like Switzerland to now
the unbiased.
The unbiased, yeah, exactly. But now I think they're more focused on when they got their products on the screen, they're advertising. When they have other people's products, they're influencing one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a weird thing. Like, I would almost say that Eddie and Jamie and Pan and like they all shouldn't even talk about their own products in any sort of comparison whatsoever, as strange as that sounds, because to people that don't know them, it automatically feels like they're trying to push their own product instead of being objective.
But that's the thing; they are trying to push their own products.
Well, whoever said
who else is going to push their products besides, why would you start a company not to push your own products?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think they just
got the problems and the negativity comes out of the fact that you've got certain followers, right? Certain influencers, certain TV personalities, YouTube channels have certain followers. And Chingy, you experienced it today. You make a comment, and if any small negativity or they perceive it negative, all of a sudden it's a big issue, it's a big drama. Whereas, you know what? You listen to what they have to say, experience it on your own if you'd like with that product, and then make your own judgment. You can listen and then have an opinion from what you saw, but it doesn't mean that because somebody has a different opinion and voices it on their channel or in the comments that suddenly, oh my God, people take it as anti-religion, sacrilegious type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I also
real quick, Dave.
Go
Dave,
ahead,
real quick. Chingy, yeah, I took care of you. I took care of your request.
Okay.
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. But thank you, sir.
So one thing that I want to kind of put out there is I've been influenced from comments. So now. Mm-hmm. Who's the influencer?
Yeah, that's actually
I'm saying anyone out there that's putting their opinion, whether it's from the person on the screen or the people in the comments. There's influence both ways. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's a great point. I'll have people that say like, hey, you should try this, or hey, have you tried that? And it's like it just ends up being like I have a rolling list of YouTube chemicals that I want to test, and it's like
you're an easy target though, Jeff.
Like flaw. I put on.
You're an easy target. I can get you to buy something just by being like, "Hey, dude, I got something better than what you got," and boom, I got you buying something.
Yeah. Whoever told me to get mint, I don't trust you anymore.
I look at the Ryobi scrubber. If there was a Milwaukee version, it would already be on its way to me. The only reason I didn't order it is because
definitely. I've seen him do it.
Yeah, friggin' I remember one night it was like 2-3 in the morning as me, Franco, and I forget who else it was, but I was just mixing up chemicals and I was using these disposable cups, and Franco's like, what the hell is that? And he's like, I gotta get that. And then next thing you know, we're all on Amazon looking for different disposable measuring cups.
And I haven't used a single one yet.
Do you know where they are?
Yes.
You know how you can spot an influencer is watch them make a rinseless video. If they use the word slick, Don't trust don't trust a single one.
That's it. That's an influencer.
Going back to your mid comment, yeah.
You could spot them a million miles away.
But I mean, as far as Jamie and Eddie, the one thing I wanted to say earlier on them was they're in a different position than a lot of other influencers are because they're running a distribution and they have to influence for many brands, not just their own. So I think they just got to find that happy marriage of, when they got to get their products in and when they got to, show off other people's stuff as well. But that's beside the point. I just wanted to get that out there because they have to kind of, show off other products now and kind of influence for them.
Yeah,
Ghost has a perfect example right now. The new Viking detail brush is a perfect example of that.
Yep.
You guys got me to order a couple of them.
Yeah, and I think Eddie and Jamie have done a good job of being third party and objective and providing a consistent platform for people. And what I'm seeing is, there are people like Nick that take advantage of the platform, that show up, that do the content, that make the videos. Luminous did the same thing, and their brands take off. And then you see other brands where like Clearcoat is a fantastic line, but there's been like one podcast, and there hasn't been a lot of showing of those products because they haven't really pushed it. And same thing. I recently had a comment thread with GT where we were talking about the same stuff. It's like, I think the brands that are taking advantage of the platform and they're actually testing their product, using their products, showing their products, and doing all that, they've seen a lot of success around that.
Yeah. ADS is a good example. I was just talking about them. I was, in all fairness, to them, like the influencers that were pushing them are some of my favorite people, but they use the word it's the best, and I never bought ADS because Jamie and Eddie were like, it's the best, along with 36 other things, right? It's like 36 things can't be the best at the same time.
Yeah,
love them, but so I didn't
touched by God.
And then ADS started making their own content, and they got that videographer working for them, who's killing it, by the way, because their content is so much better now. And so I was like, you know what? I want to give them a shot. I want to try them. And so I have, and the products that I've used have been really good. And,
their
so
wheel, tire, panel prep, rinseless.
Yeah, to Jeff's point, their content is how you sell, even detailers. Like, you're not as successful as you would be if you're not making content and you can just have a QR code to your Instagram on your business card, right? So everyone's doing it. It's just a tool, right? The social media, the content, it's a tool to be able to earn a better living or sell more products or sell more details. But yeah, that ADS is a good example of that because their content, them making it, actually is what sold me to use their brand, and I've been really happy.
Yeah, I agree. And Corey's got a pretty good point here. The brands need to step up with their own content, demo the product, and let it speak for itself. And as just like Chingy was saying, ADS has done that. I can't tell you how many times Eddie and Jamie have done that for all their brands. And, Nick from Yum, he is constantly putting out videos.
Very much so.
And what were you?
Bodybot too.
Jeff?
They're constantly putting out videos in their own channel. ADS is a good example.
DIY is the best one on that. Right?
They're on another level.
They influenced me to buy a lot of their line, not all of it, but a big part of it. When I was
you're not gonna be buying the iron remover. You're not gonna buy it.
It's on its way. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I know Chingy's buying it.
And who you have demoing your content or demoing your products is big too, because there's some that I just can't relate to, and I know for a fact the products are good, but I make a conscious decision to not make that purchase just because of who they have selling their product and making.
Well, that goes full circle. That goes full circle to the influencer. You pick someone like a No, dude. You pick someone that's just purely an influencer with the full bottle of a product and saying like, "Hey, this is the very best stuff. Check this out. Uh, this is so slick and it's bussing and it's fire and it's goaded and they're pulling it for the first time and oh, I gotta prime the trigger. Like you've never even used that stuff, but I'm supposed to take your word on." This is the best stuff you've ever used. Like, get the hell out of here with that.
I'll tell you one brand that has done very little videos, but it caught fire only because of its quality, and that's Built Amber. I mean that started off with absolutely basically nothing behind it except for a few YouTubers used it here and there, but it got all the way from the UK to US, and that shit just caught fire on its own.
Yeah, and
because it's a good product
from them has been
exactly.
Great. Auto Wheel's great. Touchless is great. Traceless is great. I mean, it's
highly flammable.
Those UK brands, they seem to be hitting.
Yeah, very much so, eh?
Yeah.
On the negative side of things, though, like as far as influencers, showing off products, like can it hurt them? Or like with the case of like Eddie and Jamie and like all these versions coming out constantly, that's more due to them having to do smaller batches, and they might make those tweaks, but would it piss off the people who already bought version 1, version 2, version 3, whatever?
If I was an end user, I don't think it would frustrate me as much, but it really pisses me off as an influencer because I can't tell you how many times like I've bought a whole line of products and I haven't tested them yet. And then there's a V2 or a V3 that comes out. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, the stuff that I bought with my own money that I haven't reviewed yet is no longer relevant and people can't buy it. And my opinion no longer matters on it because it's not even available. Like that sucks.
I still have V1 of the iron remover, so DIY iron remover, so I'm just screwed.
So
what I'm gonna do.
That's a great point.
I did that with Fine Lab. I bought everything they had and they redid the line. And like the videos were never released.
Wow.
And I don't mean to call out a particular brand, but it's happened multiple times now to me.
What's up with that, Fine Lab? What's up? I mean, pissing off Jeff here. Come on, man.
So
no, Fine Lab donated so much to the giveaway for Becca.
I know.
Yeah, they stepped up.
I mean, they gave me a 5-gallon bucket of pure wash to ship.
Jason, how's that 5-gallon coming along?
I've gone down under half. I've given most of it away to most of you guys. So,
and you know what? And even I think it was, I can't remember who he was. What his name was, but he even from Fine Lab after he brought over that 5-gallon
part of the shipping.
Yeah, he I think he gave Jeff a $100 bill and says put it towards shipping. So
wow.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you guys.
I'm thanking those guys and in their comments and stuff. So yeah.
All right, Fine Lab. We'll give Fine Lab a pass. All right, Greg, what do you got for us?
So here's what I have. So Chingy, you made a great post on Facebook with your questions and opening the discussion on the expensive
Ivan would disagree, but go ahead.
Remover. So maybe we want to end the show. We got about 15 minutes left. Maybe we want to just pull a little bit of a discussion out of that and see what we all think about with that.
All right, let the Ivan bashing begin. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we're not bashing anybody. We're not bashing anybody.
We're excited for nothing, man.
No, this is as Chingy said, he wanted to open the discussion about it and try and understand what's going on. And I'll throw it over to you, Chingy, since you made
started
the post and it's getting a lot of traction.
Yeah. Can I interject, Chingy, from the original post to what you've seen in the comments? Has it changed at all?
Yeah. So it's in the Thor Facebook group, and it started off as me poking fun, saying it's crazy times where you've got a $120 iron remover on the market, and that at some point the consumer needs to get control back of steering where the market's going, right? And that's just basic economics, right? In the country that I live in. But I think where it started was me not quite understanding how that would play out to a different perspective, being the brand itself. I think after really pondering it and thinking about it, there's some pitfalls in developing a product and making a decision. We're going to revamp this product and we're going to be charging an arm and a leg for it. And I'm taking a gamble with my name, my resources, my capital to launch a product that may not land well with the general consumer. And so where I do respect that risk, and I'm glad I don't live that life, I think there's ultimately some hinge points in there where there's a lessened ROI there, where you may lose customers, you may isolate yourself into a segment of the market that lowers the bottom line or just turns people off. And especially when you have competitors that are providing that same product or similar products, or even products that are in that same bandwidth but can do more things than you at a cheaper price point, is really what got me. Whether it be lack of dilution capability, or you're just trying to sell something. What are you selling me that's better, that's worth this much more than your competitor?
I think that's a fair question.
I think it's greed, man. Personally, I do like what.
He just got DDoSed.
Lost his
Oh, geez. Ivan's in the chat.
Ivan drove his motorhome through his house.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, I'll be honest, $115 for a gallon of iron remover doesn't shock me all that much. Sodero is $120. Iron X from CarPro is $108. Like, they're all in that territory at this point. A lot of them are, at least. And then also, like, DIY Details prices, and I don't mean to call them out in particular, but Thor brand prices are kind of all BS. Nobody pays rack rate for anything at Thor ever, because there's always something on sale. So I'm going to get 10% off by using my own code, and I'm also going to get 10% back because I'm an influencer. And somebody else is just going to wait for a sale, and they're going to get 20% off. So really, $115 is, $90, and you're going to get free shipping on it. And, like, I don't know.
And most of us on the business program anyway, so that's also.
I mean, I care a lot more about the effectiveness of it than I do literally anything else.
It has.
I was going to go on this big old rant, and then my audio went out. Man, there I am.
All right.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, brother.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like, I get it. Like, it all comes out in the wash. Like, when you divide it, it's not that bad. But when everybody's gallon is reasonably priced, and DIYs is the highest across the board, like, it's I don't know. I don't agree
Franco,
with
I think you used the word greed.
Yeah, it's greed. Yeah, it's greed. It's greed as fuck, man. Like, when you
wait, you're saying though that DIY is the most expensive, but they're $115. Clean is $119. That's pan.
Yeah.
Detail Co. Age of Iron is $93. Okay, so they're cheaper.
Yeah.
CarPro is $107. Sodero is
dilutable,
5 liter,
dilutable,
$115.
Super dilutable.
It's
so
dilutable.
Divided by 3.
And
Vampire
also
Plus
has limescale.
That's at 70.
Yeah, Sodero has limescale remover.
But I'm saying across the board. I'm
the
saying
cheapest
gallons
one.
across the board also. Yeah, we're talking about iron remover, but when you have a bottle of Envy being $90, and guess what, guys? Because it sold so well, we're going to drop it $10. It was originally, $99.
Yeah.
Now they dropped it down to 90. When
Jeff,
you
how
have
much is
Infinity,
luminous iron?
when you have Infinity that will last longer than it's damn near up there with HydroSafe. And you buy that for $18 or $19, $20 a bottle, but then you buy the gallon for, less than $60.
Infinity is a special product, though.
For Luminous.
What's
But
that?
I think Jeff is correct.
The bigger problem is not that DIY iron is $115. I think the bigger problem is that Sodero is almost the same price, and Sodero kicks the crap out of everything.
Correct.
Everything.
And is insanely dilutable. And I haven't used DIYs. Maybe it's great as well, but
it may be. Yeah.
Sodero is nuts, and it's the same price as CarPro, which it destroys. Like, I don't know.
I think in this current.
What?
Go ahead, Chingy.
What differences? What's the differences? What's the rationale behind it? And
that's what I was going to get into.
You got to remind these companies that we control the market.
Does somebody remember?
I don't care.
Does somebody remember how much it was? The old iron remover, how much did it increase for DIY?
The original was right at 99, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it was right at 90 or 100 bucks.
Go get some ADS. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, Vampire Plus. Get some of that. It's dilutable.
Vampire
crazy.
Plus is really great. It's dilutable.
Adam's iron. Adam's iron remover. You know, hell, you can't use it as a clay lube, and I don't know why the hell anybody would. It smells disgusting. All of them smell disgusting. Like, why do I want to use that as my final?
Armor doesn't smell disgusting, so there's a differentiator for Armor. There's actually
Armor and Detail Co.
and
smells great too.
Cleancoat the Iron Man isn't bad either.
But you're looking at Adams, Adams for right around $60 a gallon.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like it's there's
They gotta
better
be losing money on that though.
There's better options out there.
I don't. I think there's. I mean, I think Adams works fine, but I don't think it's the strongest one out there. That's right. I mean, how diluted is that already? You know.
Yeah. Well, when the only job of the chemical is to get rid of the little orangey iron spots, they're not designed to magically lift up the embedded iron.
Right.
But they round off the edges. They get rid of the little stains. I mean, like.
Yeah.
Why do you need the most expensive one? You know.
I think the thing is though that like Sodero, I wouldn't buy a 4.5 liter of Sodero. I'd buy a 1 liter. I would dilute it like 1 to 4. That's how I would make my gallon. And it would be every bit as effective as every other brand that we've mentioned today, except maybe Luminous. And like it's so freaking strong.
Built Amber Coruscant is also like a freaking really strong.
I haven't used that
How much is that
on my short list?
That I don't know. I bought mine from Carzilla before the tariffs took over, so mine was super cheap.
In my opinion, I don't think the price really matters because at the end of the day, you're not their target audience.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, we all understand dilutions, and any of us will buy Sodero or Vampire Plus any day over DIY. I mean, I personally don't have any DIY products because they're not my target.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, if you really want to buy just the cheapest iron remover and it'll work just fine, you can go to 3D and get some off-brand name.
Well, what Vice just said, you think it's fair that
we're not the target audience.
Yeah, not the. But would you say the target audience is the suckers that would pay $100 for a bottle of,
yeah, but
I don't want to call them
just
suckers.
showed that, a lot of people like CarPro, and CarPro is pretty equivalent in pricing.
CarPro's 107.
It's ridiculously expensive.
And CarPro very rarely has sales. Like, DIY always has a 20% sale. Detail Co always has 35 or 30% off sale. Labo sometimes throws in a 20% sale here and there. So, I mean, everyone has sales. I mean, you got to look at it. All right, when you're going to buy it and how much are you going to buy at that time? And that's what the real price is.
I think if we all cared about value, we'd be buying Furies. From Phoenix COD. Like it's $70 a gallon. And it's super effective. It just smells awful.
Well, what's ADS price? You guys with the computer.
I can look it up. Hang on a sec.
I think that's beside the point.
It's like what's the justification? And Jamie chimed in, and so did Chava Salvatore from DIY. Give him credit because he showed up. But Jamie made a very astute observation of
Armor $70.
Yeah, see, and I would, maybe not the popular thing to say, but I would blanket buy pretty much all their stuff and not feel bad about it.
Yeah,
but
it's highly effective and it's not terrible to use.
Yeah, and so it's like, what's the justification for that spike? And Jamie had some feedback. he said that not a lot of blenders are making them, or the chemists don't want to work with the chemical because of the smell, and there's like a surcharge to even make it for them. So I mean, I get that part, and I'm glad he fed that info on there, because I'll never know behind the scenes. And I actually made that comment, like, I will never know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't ever want to.
Yeah.
The risks they're taking, the challenges, the obstacles they got to go through. So I'm not knocking a brand for charging it, but it was a reflection of like, well, shit, why are we buying it? You know, what's so great about it? You know, and I think that was part of a maybe a secret desire, is to have someone come in and tell me exactly what's so great about it. That's better than these other products that are doing something similar.
Well, I think
to the point that was made.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Envy did well. Now it's cheaper. Well, what that tells me is their initial run, they had no idea how it was going to work, and they had 500 gallons mixed up, and they ran it until they sold out. And then they sold out so quickly that they went and bought 5,000 gallons and were able to get better pricing on raws and distribution and bottles and labels and all the things that go into it that make that up. And now all of a sudden they're able to drop the price because their price per ounce went down. Like that, as a consumer, that's where my head went when that was said.
Yeah,
went down $10, a whole $10. Like, get out of here with that, dude.
I think what pissed off most people was when they announced that they were gonna do that thing. It was supposed to be some huge announcement, and it's like, we're knocking $10 off. I think that's what pissed off people. It's not the $10. That's nice.
Well, what's your take on this though? Like, you know, this is my view on it. Of course, you know, this is just my opinion. Take it or leave it, but when everybody is priced, you know, at $70 to $40 a gallon, they still have sales, and you can get that stuff, you know, wicked discounted. If you're a company still trying to make that money, even if when things go on sale, isn't it a smarter idea to have it initially $100 and $115, you know, $90, $80? So when it does go on sale, like, you guys are, you know, missing out on the chunk because you price your stuff so reasonably, but ours is so high that we're still making money. So screw y'all guys.
I don't think anyone's running into like the local 3D shop paying for an unknown brand, like, you know, $115. The mobile detailers are being like, I'm buying the cheapest shit I can find, and that's it. You know what I mean? So you can't really compare.
Chingy, do you think you wouldn't have had such a visceral reaction to the price if they had maybe preempted it a little bit, come out with an explanation what the new product was, how it worked better, so there was at least a foundation before you knew the price? They have done a better job of the announcement. I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying, if they had explained it to everybody and really backed up, hey, this is why it's better, but this is the new price.
I think so. I think knowledge is power, and for people that have inquisitive minds, going back to Jeff's reflection about hearing, you know, how it got cheaper, you know, per ounce by, you know, a large quantity purchase, that stuff helps for people who are like me. For the target audience, they don't give a shit. And I made a comment to someone who posted, who has some inside knowledge, and she works for a chemist, and I won't name names, but it's in the chat. I think that, you know, I replied to her and said, I'd be willing to pay a premium if you could tell me what the premium I'm buying is. Right? If there really is a new surfactant that just makes it so much easier, that it actually can make it close to touchless or odorless, I'll pay more for odorless product. You know, but
tell me why it's better.
That's why I like. That's why I like
Armor, because Ricardo's point is
pleasant to use, right?
I think maybe that's coming, and I jumped the gun because I saw some emails get released.
You'll still be in the chat bitching. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I saw a pic of the emails that have come out, because I'm not subbed to their email distribution list, and it's like, holy shit! So I go digging around. It's already 120. So if they're improving it, what's it going to be? 140? You know what I mean? It's just that slippery slope of like, hey, time out. Like, let's ask some questions. hey fam, gather around, let's ask some questions here.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to put brands on the spot and be respectful and have a, educated adult discourse and be able to, validate why it's being, or why the charges for the product are what they are. And I think it's appropriate for us to be able to ask questions. And kudos to Thor. They didn't pull that post ever.
No.
And
everybody was being respectful in the post. I mean, it was a discussion.
And you did it in Thor.
What it should be.
You didn't go on DIY and do it.
I'm not
you did
a
it on
member.
Thor. So I mean, that to me that was a nice, more neutral place for it. So
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DIY, you would have gotten some pushback, not from DIY. I think that they're reasonably respectful about posts being, as long as they stay respectful. But there are a lot of people in the DIY group that are like
the zealots,
super fans.
And you could say that about any, like if you go in the armor detail supply group, it's the same way. If you go in the OG, well, OG is not really that way. The Inside the Hex one is, but like the regular OG one, there's just as many critics as there are people that are bought in. But yeah, I mean, like Sidero does a great job of differentiating itself. It's because it's fluid in gel, high adhesion on vertical surfaces. Like they give you a bunch of differentiators even in the description, right? But the DIY, I don't think we really know what's different yet. I'm interested to find out. I mean, maybe we'll find out that it's $20 more than the old one, but it's like you're going to dilute it twice as much, and you're going to use half as much, and or on those lines, it'll be kind of
what's gonna be the Ivan buzzword that's gonna sell this one. We had exothermic reaction not too long ago. What's gonna be the big buzzword for this one?
Yeah,
it's got to have like 5 syllables at least.
Oh yeah, and some chemical we've never heard of that's from a different planet, probably. So, anyways, Greg, we're going on 2 hours here, brother.
Yeah. So hey, anybody else have anything?
Greg, I actually before we go, I want to
back.
hear your opinion.
I don't have an opinion on this because I don't use iron remover.
He's switching.
Yeah, I'm Switzerland.
I use iron remover when I first buy a car, and then never again.
Yeah. So here's my opinion. I use what I like. I've got I think some of the Detail Co, Vampire, and one other one I can't remember. Those are the ones that I've used, and I won't. I'm not going to pay that much. I'm saving for a freaking power washer. So I can't spend that much money at this point, and every time I put a GoFundMe up, they remove it. So
we just need 100 people in the chat to send
Vice to win
$10 through Venmo so he can buy a pressure washer.
Yeah, and
Vice
Fernando
is gonna win one for you.
Yeah, there you go. Vice is going to win one. So that's my feeling. And I'm not going to spend that much money. I haven't used it before. I'm pretty happy with what I have in the cabinet right now. With that being said, we want to thank everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us for a couple hours tonight, and thank everybody that came in and talked tonight. Appreciate it. And Franco, hopefully next week you damn camera fixed, because I'm tired of looking at the damn squirrel.
Hey.
That's better than his face, though.
No, we need his face. We need his face.
Snap! Shots fired.
Yeah. But hey,
stick shift anymore.
Yeah. So if everybody that's in this can after we end this, can we stay here for a few minutes, because I've got a couple things for you. Yeah.
Greg, did we ever get any emails?
We did not get any emails, and well, I should say we did get a couple emails, but they were the wrong format, and I didn't have time to run them through the converter beforehand because of you guys know what's going on with me, and I was definitely running late. So
yeah, guys, keep your bead videos coming. It's like bead porn. I think that's what we'll call the new section, bead porn.
And
make sure it's a readable format, please.
Yes,
MP4, please. Keep them between 10 and 15 seconds long. Anything that's 30 seconds long, you'll get an email from Franco and possibly a phone call if you include your phone and number in there. We had we had a couple, but they were in the wrong format. So
they're
thanks.
MOV. I mean,
you
I
accept
can
polishing
convert
form?
those MOVs into MP4 if you need me to.
Yeah, for the next one.
Yeah,
that would
Yeah.
be good.
Looks like
We'll have a few more to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, send us your beads weekly. I know I haven't talked to Vic about it offline, but if Vic could send them, that would be great. If not, I think I'm going to steal it and download them because he's posting every week his Cativa updates. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So with that, anybody else have anything else they want to say before we hang on? Okay, so hang on while I play this, guys, and we'll all check in after we get off the air. So
thank you and good night.
Thank you,
everybody.
I want you all to stick around and listen to this for me tonight, okay? Please listen to this. It's important. There we go.
Thanks for listening to Clearcoat Confessions. Just a quick reminder, the opinions and hot takes expressed by our guests today are entirely their own and don't necessarily reflect the views of the hosts. Detailing involves heavy tools and strong chemicals, so if you try any of the techniques or products we talked about today, you do so at your own risk.